on Facebook, if you're joining me on YouTube Live, I'm thrilled that you're here. My name is Lea Little, and every day at noon, we do a book review. So, welcome if you're joining me on Amazon Live as well. Today, we're going to talk about the book Abounding Wisdom by Scott Peck. Love this little gem. It's like a little coffee table reading book. I really think you may enjoy it. So I'm going to highlight it for you if you're joining us on Amazon Live in the stream. And there's a lot of books that are in the stream for you. And those books are in the stream because those are books that I've reviewed throughout the year. So my New Year's resolution on January 1st was to read a book a day and to do a book summary, a book review about it every day at noon. And so here we are, the end of February, and I've been so excited about this journey. And I thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to meet new friends along the way, and I love book suggestions. So, pour them out. If you are on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, I'd love to hear what you have for suggestions. So, I'm just going to bring up our Facebook audience. Glad to see you as well. All right, so let's dive in. Abounding Wisdom. So, this little book is about excerpts from Abounding Grace. Abounding Wisdom is developed from the 12 sections of Abounding Grace. Now, if you are familiar at all with Scott Peck, then you know his most famous work, of course, The Road Less Traveled, was a amazing pivotal book years and years ago. And if you're not familiar with the book, The Road Less Traveled, then I will be reviewing that here. It's not a book that I can read in a day, so I'm taking my time to kind of go through it again. I first read it years and years ago, and I think it's one of the all-time greatest books, in my opinion. Certainly one of my favorite authors. And Scott Peck is a psychologist. I believe no longer with us. His work is focused on discipline. His later work is more spiritual, in my opinion. His original work, The Road Less Travel, focused so much on discipline, delayed gratification, the illusion of love versus real love. Really hardcore, straight talk coming from a psychiatrist, not psychologist viewpoint, and really strong, uh, important lifelong information and lessons that are in there. So this is an excerpt, sort of a little quote book from his later work, Abounding Grace, in which he shares more about his religion, his ideas of spirituality, should say more than I think religion. And then this is just a little coffee table book, just a nice little conversation starter book. Again, we're reviewing Abounding Wisdom by the one and only Scott Peck. So he says, wisdom is a gift. Certain people seem to almost be born with an instinct for wisdom. On the other hand, I also believe that wisdom can be earned. That is to say, learned, but only by thinking about the challenges and experiences of our lives. His work is deep, right? This is not just sort of like skim through it kind of information. So he says, what gives us the wisdom to choose to look for wisdom in the first place? If there was one central question I think I would ask God, that would be it. What inspires a person to look for that type of path? What is it that sets you on that path? I mean, to me, that is such a pivotal question. That is, whether you're 13 or whether you're 50, whether you're in your 20s when you start on that quest for knowledge, spirituality, meaning of life, whatever that is. It's different for everybody, right? And so I love that because this is the author, of course, who I first discovered this type of thinking or this quest or this path through. So, what gives us the wisdom to choose to look for wisdom in the first place? Ultimately, I've come to believe that wisdom is more of a gift than an earned character trait. I don't mean that it cannot be earned. To the contrary, it must be, he says. I do mean, however, that the origin of the yearning to earn it is obscure and mysterious. Mm. The one thing that I have to say that I admire about Scott Peck and his writings time and time again is that he oftentimes doesn't say, here's the answers. He oftentimes says, consider this. And it's a beautiful way to inspire, uh, in my opinion, people to think about things. So, again, want to say thank you as you're joining me on Facebook and on Amazon Live and on YouTube Live. I'm thrilled to be here. Today's going to be short and sweet because I've got a big Saturday going on, and I'm sure you do as well. So, he touches on a little bit of Carl Jung, referred to it as big dreams. Um, she, most commonly, the referring to God or the Holy Spirit. He says she speaks to us through that still small voice, a voice that would seem to come from within our own minds, were it not for the fact that it's wiser and its words are far wiser than anything our own brains could come up with. Oh, that mysticism wrapped up in here. Okay, so then he says, in the long run, I have nothing new to say. Again, that's what I love about his work is that he's so humble and so profound because, I mean, is there anything really new to say? I never have, he says. And yet, in my opinion, some of the most profound life lessons I've learned through his readings. So the rest of the book, starting on page 19 and all the way through the end on page 126, is all just small excerpts and quotes from famous people, everyone from Abraham Lincoln to French proverbs to Mahatma Gandhi to, let's see what else, Albert Einstein, Wooden, they're all in here. Rene Descartes, so many. So what I'd like about this is a little coffee table book or just, something that is within reach is that it's just really an interesting conversation starter, right? So I'll give you a few little excerpts of the quotes that are in here. From Abraham Lincoln, I don't think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday. It is easier to be wise on the behalf of others than to be so for ourselves. Isn't that the truth? Hello, Vincent. Hi. So great to have you with me. Saying so much with few inspiring words is such an amazing trait. It's so true. Scott Peck's work does that for me time and time and time again. So thank you, Vincent. I appreciate you being here and I appreciate you um, chatting with me as well. I'm going to keep it short and sweet in the comments, but know that my heartfelt thanks is with you. I I love to answer directly when it comes to chats and when it comes to talking. And so I want them to be my words. So I'm not always like right there in the moment because being present in two places is, as we know, impossible. So uh, I'm working on ways to discover how to do that. But please know, I'm thrilled that you're here. So, who is wise? He that learns from everyone, says Benjamin Franklin. And these are, again, selected quotes by Scott Peck that are now it's kind of parodied down for you here by me. Here's an anonymous one. Wisdom is divided into two parts, having a great deal to say and B, not saying it. I like that. All right. Another of my favorites by Hermann Hesse. Knowledge can be communicated, but not wisdom. One can find it, live it, be fortified by it, do wonders through it, but one cannot communicate and teach it. That's a lot of profound depth happening there, in my opinion. Here's an Armenian proverb, which I love. If there were wisdom in beards, all goats would be prophets. I had to take a second to think about that because my dad always says to me still, gray is wisdom, right? So, and I think that's true for my father. I don't know that that's true for everyone. Not to be judgmental, I just don't know that age always correlates with wisdom. I know my daughter, even at a very young age, for me, I felt like it has profound wisdom just in the eyes of a child. So I find that quote to be amusing. and true, in my opinion. Wisdom is knowing what to do next. Skill is knowing how to do it, and virtue is doing it. By David Starr Jordan. All right. And from the Talmud, 7 characteristics distinguish the wise. He does not speak in the presence of one wiser than himself, does not interrupt, is not hasty to answer, asks and answers the point, talks about first things first, and about last things last, admits when he does not know, and acknowledges the truth. As I don't know how much I could top that with quotes in this book, um, I think I'm going to wind down for you, and I'll leave you with a couple last ones. Here's one from Muhammad Ali. The man who views the world at 50 the same as he did at 20 has wasted 30 years of his life. That one's a good one to consider. And here from Plato, wise men talk because they have something to say. Fools talk because they have to say something. So with that, I think I'm going to stop talking. So thank you for being here. Short and sweet on this Saturday with the book review because I'm sure we all have lots to do on this Saturday. Thank you for joining me. I am thrilled that you're here, whether you're joining me on Facebook or Amazon or YouTube Live. I'm here every day at noon with a book review, and I welcome your suggestions for books to review, your comments for what you think about some of this work, and again, hopefully I'm inspiring you with a little, in this case, wisdom from Scott Peck. All right, I think my motto for the day and maybe for the year is go play. So there you have it. Go play. I'll see you next time.